Folks, I'd like to say that it is very good to be with you today, even if it is in a virtual manner. We're glad to see quite a few of you join us and kind of going over what to expect as far as graduation night. I want to, first of all, say that I'm extremely excited that we're going to be able to have a real graduation. I mean, something that is just like what we've done in years past and out on the football field. And so I heard a lot of seniors over the course of the year, they come up and say, "Hey, Mr. Sweeney, why don't we have the graduation out on the football field?" Well, guys, you got it. You got it. It might have taken a big ordeal like the pandemic to cause it to happen, but we did have the opportunity to have it out on the football field. And I want to say two things before we get into the details of what we're going to talk about. One is that we have put, when I start presenting this stuff to you, I want you to keep in mind there is a group of people, the senior sponsors, Dr. Boyette, all the staff members here that you're seeing on this panel. Everybody has been putting a whole lot of thought and effort into planning this. And I don't mean a few hours. I'm talking about days. We have been working on making sure that we try to get this as organized and as detailed and as planned out so that it's a very good and smooth operation for everyone. Although we have been allowed to have this event, we still have some restrictions. I mean, the governor has been kind enough to open us up a little bit. The Commissioner of Education has allowed us to actually have these in-person graduations, but there are some restrictions that are still in place. And so we're having to abide by those. And social distancing is going to be the main one. We've got some screening things that we're going to have to do. We'll talk about all those in just a moment. But I'm saying this because I want you to know that what we have in mind, the layout and the flow of things, it was not done just flippantly. This is done with a lot of thought, a lot of effort. I think most of you are going to be very pleased with it. I think you'll like what we have in mind. Obviously, we're probably not going to please everybody, but we want you to understand that we have tried to think of everything that could be a hindrance or might crop up as a problem down the road. We've tried to anticipate those things and come up with a solution to them. So as we go through this, if I fail to make something clear enough, I know there's a chat room, there's a way to ask questions, and Mr. Moore is facilitating the meeting for us today so that I can stay focused on what I'm saying, and he'll catch me whenever there's a question that we need to go over. So we're going to do that. I told you way back that, you know, whether we wanted it to be or not, this is going to be a memorable graduation, and that it's going to be it's going to be one that you're going to remember, whether good, bad, or indifferent. It's going to be remembered. Having said that a while back, and after looking at all the plans and the things that we have in place for you, I told Dr. Boyette yesterday, and maybe Brienne, I don't know who it was. I said, I believe that honestly, the graduation that we're about to have is possibly better than what we would have planned had we not had this very awkward circumstance of the pandemic. And I really am that confident about it. And I hope that as I start going through this, you'll feel the same. So all that being said, we'll get started on this and see if I can explain it in a good, clear and concise way. First of all, we're going to be giving you some documents. We're going to be sharing the things that I'm going to be talking from and the pictures that I'm going to be showing you here in just a moment, the graphics. We'll be sharing this stuff with you after sometime later today or tomorrow. We'll try to get those out on some social media and in different mediums. So we'll have that for you. And so just be ready for that. And to start off with, what we are doing, and I'll tell you some rationale behind it, we're going to have it out on the football field. We have chosen to put the parents and guests, mainly probably grandparents of the family members, out on the football field, and the graduates will be located in the bleachers. And the rationale behind that was when we tried to maintain social distancing for the family members in the bleachers and then try to get the family members close together, try to keep maybe a grandparent from having to walk all the way to the top of the home bleachers or something like that, that might not be able to do so. We chose that it would be a much better option to put the families out on the football field in some blocks of space that we'll have assigned, and I'll show you some of that in just a moment. So we chose to do that as opposed to trying to organize the bleachers and put the students on the field. So we're going to be building a platform in the bleachers, and you will be seated in the bleachers, and you will go across the platform that's there. The platform is probably going to be about, the bottom of it is going to probably be about 7 feet off of the ground, maybe 8 feet off the ground from those who will be seated out on the football field. So it's going to be up in the air. So even those of you who, when you see the diagram, somebody will end up getting, not the best seating, but we know that even in the worst case, because I walked out there myself yesterday and I stood in the block that Mr. Ford he's very graciously, he and Coach Buckner and the other coaches have started blocking off the field. I walked into the farthest block away from the stage, and I could still see in a very good way. So it would be no different than if the stage were on the field and somebody was in the top corner of the bleachers. The distance is not going to be any different. So what we have here is each graduate will be given 10 tickets to pass out to their family members. Okay, 10 tickets. And that's the total. And inside that, or for those 10 tickets, there will be a block assigned out on the football field. And they'll be allocated just for that senior. And those family members will all be inside that square. So I'm going to take you to that diagram if I can figure out how to share that. So bear with me just a moment. And let's see, I want to go to this document, I believe. Okay, this is actually going to be, and I'll try to blow it up a little bit for you if I can. Where's my? Okay, this is the football field. Imagine that as the football field, and where it says stage right here where my cursor is, that is the center of the stadium down on the front rail in front of the press box. Over here would be the bleachers where the band normally sits. Over here would be the bleachers on the concession stand end where a lot of the student cheer section sits. So imagine that up there, and we'll look at another graphic that has that in just a moment. But right now, let's look at the field, because we have the field blocked off into 70 blocks, okay? Right now, to my best count, there's going to be 69 of you guys graduating, provided somebody doesn't go south on us here at the end. We'll talk about that at the end of the lesson, or into the presentation. But anyway, 69. So there's going to be one extra block, and I'll explain that one in a moment. So every senior will be assigned one of these. These little walkways are there to where we can make sure that social distancing is kept and maintained while people are transitioning to their various places. And so everybody will have one of those. Inside that block will be the 10 people. Now inside where the 10 people are, that can represent a total of 3 households. All right, and I'm going to give you an example. For instance, let's say that you want to invite your mom and dad, your brother and your sister, okay? Obviously, that's going to be, you're going to want to invite your immediate family. So that would be considered part of your guest list. We would consider that one household, and for the sake of definition, we're going to call that a pod inside your block. Your block is that big space right here. See where my cursor is blocking this off? That right there is your block of space. And that is about a 22 by 28. It's a very large area. Inside that is going to be about a 10 by 16 area, maybe a little bit bigger than that, but about that. And that's going to be where your family members and guests will be seated. We can have a maximum of 3 households. A household means who is living inside that particular house, under that roof, okay? Not a neighbor, not a cousin from next town or what. That is the household. Okay, it doesn't even extend to grandparents unless they live inside that household. So we have now 2 smaller pods in this example that shows maybe this may be the grandparents on one side of the family, and this may be grandparents on the other side of the family. So that's an example of what we're talking about on your guest list. So your guest list could have as many as 3 representations there, 3 different family households, and a total of 10 people. Now, the one that the example I gave you, where you might have a mom, dad, and a brother and sister, you may not fill up all 5 of those chairs there. That might be 4. And so maybe you needed 3 here and 3 there. Well, we can probably work something out to where we can make something like that happen. Every family may have their own unique configuration, but you've got to keep in mind maximum of 10 people, and that must include 3 households max. Now, in the event that anybody out there, after I'm saying all this, if you have some unique situation I cannot dream up in my mind and I haven't covered, you're welcome to contact me, and I'll put that into the information. There is a place in there that says anybody that has problems with the seating in the pods to contact my office, and I'll work that out on an individual basis with you. But we're going to have to maintain the structure of this, and it'll be a total of 10 people over 3 households. Okay, so that's the way that's going to be broken down. These people, I'm going to go to a different graphic now. Oh, not that one. That's not the one I wanted. I want, I can get that out of the way. That's the one I want. Okay, this is our overall school plant right here, a picture of the whole thing. And so as you can see, when we start bringing people in, we're going to assign parking lots so that the parking is very manageable, and we can keep everybody in order as we go through that. Now, let me go back to this other one for just a second. We're going to divide this group into 4 quadrants, okay? There will be a group up here that will be considered a particular quadrant. There will be a group here that's considered another quadrant, one back here, and one back here. Based on where you are seated, you will then be assigned a particular parking lot. Those of you, and look at, this is that graph I just showed you, it's in green, and that's the former graph that had the checkerboard blocks on it. The ones that are in that first quadrant right here will be in parking lot A. They'll be parking, that's in between the elementary, and it's in the football stadium itself by the old junior high gymnasium. It's all of that area. That parking lot obviously is going to have a division in it. Parking lot B will be for the people that are in this quadrant of seating, and it will be in that north side over by the playground area of that parking lot between the elementary and the football stadium. Then the visitor parking lot on the north side, north end of the bleachers, or north end of the stadium, is going to be for lot C, and it'll be for this group of people here. And then lot D will be the baseball, softball parking area, and it'll be for this quadrant. And so that's where we're going. So now the question is, okay, who's going to be sitting where? What we're going to be doing, and I'll go back to this other document one more time. Okay, on this front row, we will have preferential seating for the honored grads on the front row. Okay, that's the way we've done it in the gym in prior years. The honor graduates families were seated at the front because of the speeches and things of that nature. They were there in a closer way, and those kids had earned that right. So we have that set up. There'll be 7 honor grads up here in these areas. Then everybody else, we will draw for seating through a random number generator. Normally the seniors would, in a normal situation when you're on campus, Ms. Lambert would have a drawing, and she would have all the different areas of seating in the gymnasium written on a piece of paper, and you would walk in and you would pull a slip of paper out of the hat, and that would be yours. We're not going to be able to have that particular situation this year because we can't have everybody together in that capacity to draw. So we're going to use a random number generator. Everyone's name will be put into the random number generator, and then it will automatically assign you a spot. So somebody's going to get this block, somebody's going to get this block, somebody will get this back corner here. We're going to have, everybody's going to get it, but it'll be a random number generator. And that's the fairest way that we can come up with to allocate the seating. I wish everybody had a front row seat, but you know, we know that in any kind of event that we go to, that's not going to happen. Some people probably say, well, why don't we have first come, first serve? We can't do that because first of all, we're required to maintain the social distancing. We're also going to be required to screen the people that come on campus. And as we have to do those things, we have to have a very structured approach. So as we get these parking assignments and seating assignments done through the random number generator, actually the seating assignment will be the random number generator. And then based on where you are, you will fall into a particular parking lot. And so then we will get that information out to all y'all later. But based on that, we will have arrival times for you to come so that we can try to stage this and spread it out as much as we can. So we'll have those situations in place for you. But that's why we can't do the first come, first serve situation, because we're going to be responsible for collecting some forms from you, some tickets. We're going to have to screen. There's a whole lot of things that are going on. We got to maintain social distancing. So that means that we will have people set up to usher the families to the various blocks on the field for the students. And so we have to do it that way. So that's the justification for it. Now, going back to, well, maybe.
Mr. Sweeney?
Yes.
You may be going to go over this and I'm jumping the gun, but I just thought I would tell them that also their quadrant is correlated with their graduate seating assignment, meaning if your student is going to walk across the stage from left to right, you will be seated in quadrant B or C so that you can see their faces as they come across and get their diploma. So you won't be looking at the back of them. So we are, also coordinating where you are seated on the field to hopefully optimize your view to the best of our ability.
Thank you very much. That's exactly right. And I appreciate you bringing that up. We thought that far ahead to try to make sure that the parents are accommodated. I think it's going to be I think everybody will be able to see good. And with that, you're going to be able to see the face as well. Now, back to this diagram here, looking at the entrances, there will be, for lot A, there will be a particular screening location, a gate that you will enter. And we'll have all that drawn out for you. I'm not for sure if it'll be the gate down here on the edge of the loop, or it probably will be that one. And then you'll come around and probably go into this side gate near the bleachers here. That detail is not completely finalized. It could be around this other way, but I think it's probably going to be here. Then we have the baseball, softball parking lot area. There is a gate where the ag department brings their barbecue stand in and all that. We'll go in that gate and probably come in right over here and enter the field there. It could there again be at the end, not for sure yet. But wherever you're entering, there are gates at each of these locations. There will be a table set up there. And at that table, we will have a nurse who will assist us with the screening. You're going to be, along with the tickets that we're going to be giving you, there will be a pre-printed ticket that has on that your name. It will have your seat number. It will have your parking lot designation. It'll have all that information that you need on that ticket. On the other side, on the back side of that, will be the health screening document that we're going to have to send out, and everyone will have to fill that out and sign it. And the nurse will have to then ask a few questions about that document as you enter. And that means every family member. And at the same time, as you enter there with the nurse, there will be some other faculty members there assisting her. You will also be checked and screened for temperature. There will be a camera there. Dr. Boyette has been able to order and acquire some cameras, and I think she chimed in, Dr. Boyette, if I'm right, you're going to have one at each of the locations, the entry locations. That's correct? And then one.
That is correct.
and one
Yes.
parking seniors at the
And
gym.
it's just an infrared. They walk in front of it slowly. You know, we can do as many as 20 people at once. So it won't hold up things too much, but they will have already also be screened before they ever get into the parking area by our nurses. So, you know, and then pulled out and double checked if the infrared camera shows that they are possibly having a symptom such as fever. And then, you know, we could check it better, more thoroughly to determine if they would be allowed in or not.
Yes, ma'am. All right, so those are some things that we want you to expect as well. And so as we start looking at the senior parking, now when the seniors come in, notice that that's up here in this front lawn area. Your seniors are going to enter. We're not going to park in the front lawn. It's just that's where your dot is. Okay, you're going to be parking in the parking areas here in front of the high school and in front of the junior high. If there are not enough spaces for the seniors there, then we will park in some of the lanes that are there where the traffic flows, and we'll have a parking area there. That will then, once you're there, there'll be somebody checking you in there. That's going to be blocked off. No one's going to be able to get in there and park in those spots. That way, we know that we have that reserved just for you. And so, as you come into the school, and we'll have you an arrival time, and all that's going to be in the information. You'll come in, you'll park, go immediately into the old gymnasium. That's where you're going to be housed, is in that the old gymnasium. That's the only area that we have in the general vicinity of the football stadium, unless we went to the elementary gym, but the junior high gym works probably a little better. That's the area large enough to keep y'all social distanced in there. So I'm sorry, but we're not going to be able to just go in there and congregate and everything, you know, hully-gully. It's going to have to be a little structured in there, and you guys are going to have places that you're going to have to sit. There's going to be places that you're going to have to stay social distance from each other. So we'll have that all lined out, and the senior sponsors will be in there along with Mr. Ford, Ms. Spivey, Ms. Dean. All those folks will be in there assisting with senior sponsors, making sure that the seniors are taken care of, that you don't have any problems with your caps and gowns and any of that kind of stuff. So as you come in, you will park in this area, in these lots in front of the junior high and the high school, or in the lanes there. You will immediately leave your car, come on into the gym, and you'll be taken care of in there as far as social distancing is needed. And so I guess before I get into now the actual ceremony and all that, the graduation ceremony for the seniors and what to expect there, is there anything maybe from any of the sponsors, Dr. Boyette, that maybe I've failed to mention on this particular part? You have anything that I may have missed in the notes there? We'll get that at the end. Okay. So you think I've cut? Dr. Boyette, can you think of anything maybe I failed to?
Go ahead, Dr. Boyette, if you have anything, but I have something if you don't.
Okay.
I think I didn't hear for certain if you mentioned that, you know, that they can't bring any flowers or gifts or things like that, because obviously they're not going to be able to see the graduate after it's over to hand them flowers or a gift or anything like that. So that piece. And I think also, did you mention that everyone has to wear a mask upon entering?
No, I haven't got that. I appreciate you.
Okay.
I do need to put that in here because that's in part of the entering. I probably would have left that out. Guys, you need to tell your family members that they're going to need to enter the stadium, the facility, with a mask or a face covering of some sort. Okay. It could be a bandana. It could be, you know, there's different things. It's a face covering or mask of some sort to enter the stadium. Now, seniors, for yourselves, I think there's a little surprise from Dr. Boyette. She may have something there for you as far as a face covering. So I hope I didn't let the cat out of the bag too bad for you there, Dr. Boyette, but you do not have to bring a mask, okay? She has something for you, and that's for the seniors only. So families will need to get that, okay? All of our faculty members will be wearing the mask and gloves throughout our entire dealing with the families. The only time that our mask will be removed is when we're having to speak or address something. Other than that, we will be abiding by that request, and because we want to make sure that the families feel safe and secure as far as what we are doing from our end. And but we need, for our people's safety, we need you to be very cautious and wear the mask as you enter, so that our people that are doing the checking in and screening and assisting you to the various areas, they are protected as well. So please help us out with that. Did I leave something else? You good with that?
Make sure we didn't talk about them needing to all get there at the same time on their family.
Thank you. All right. I did had that on my mind, and it slipped my mind a while ago. When the families arrive, we definitely want to encourage everyone to be there at the same time. If y'all can drive in together, be screened together, and then go be seated together. We're not going to seat any family until we have all the family members there. So it would be good if you would arrive in your cars at the same time. There should be ample parking for up to 3 cars per family if you need that, because we're allocating 3 households. So obviously, if we're allocating seating for 3 households, then there should be obviously 3 cars bringing those people there. So every parking area should accommodate that for the families, but try to plan that hard, because we do not want people sitting in their cars and having to wait on other family members in the hot sun and all that kind of stuff. And we don't want to go sit you out there in your chairs on the football field at 5 o'clock in the evening either. So we're going to have this organized, and we'll probably start the whole process of bringing people on campus and screening them, sometime after 6 o'clock, I would say, because we're moving this to 8 o'clock so that the sun will be down. It won't be as hot. We're doing it for that purpose, but we sure don't want people to have to sit out there and wait 3 or 4 hours in the hot sun. So probably 6:30-ish, give or take, is what we will decide to start bringing people in. We need y'all to arrive, and we'll have you an arrival and departure time on your ticket, or not a departure, but an arrival, and then we'll depart. I'll go over that in a minute when we get through the ceremony, but we will do that in an organized fashion as well, similar to what we did on the way, bringing people in. So that's kind of what we have to this point. And I guess if there's anything else that y'all think of that I left out, by all means, let me know right now. We'll go over that. Otherwise, I'm going to go into kids where they're going to leave the gym and come into the bleachers and all that kind of stuff just very quickly, and talk to them about that, and then the program itself. All right, let's see if I can pull that up. Now, to start with, we'll go right here. You're going to be housed in the gym. You'll come out the back door of the gym, go into this little parking area. You're going to come down the street here. You will come down the street, come in and enter that main big gate where the football players go in and out. You will hit lane 4 on the track. That's the center lane. You will follow it. There will be a track covering rolled out there and for you to walk on. And so that will get you to that. I'm going to go get the other diagram now, which I think is this one. Okay. So now as you come in the gate here and you're walking down lane 4 all the way around, you will be spread out. You'll probably be a little more than 6 feet. At this point, you'll probably be maybe more like 10 or 12 feet, to where you're spread out a little bit for pictures as you're coming in and you're in your own picture. So, and we'll have a photographer there taking pictures. We will have also school personnel taking pictures as a backup as well. And so we're going to be recording the whole ceremony and live streaming that. So we're going to have a lot of pictures, a lot of video. So we will be having all that put out there where you can access that later. So as you come down, the seniors will walk right down this aisle. The honor graduates will proceed in first, and they will be seated closest to where the stage is going to be, because they're going to have to get up and get to the stage to make their speeches. So we need them right there very close. And so The stage will be set up right here in this area. It will be about it'll be on top of the third row of bleachers extending out to the railing in front of the bleachers. So it'll be about a 12 by 40 stage there. And so that we'll have some built-in steps on each end, and that's where you will walk across right there to get your diploma. But on the way in, we'll come all the way down the track here, all the way down lane 4. And by the way, we're not gonna be running a race, guys. We'll be doing that in a very slow process so that, you know, you can have your moment, and your parents and grandparents can have your moment with you as well and be able to see you and take pictures, and it'll be really nice. So then when you get to the end, there's a gate right here that the band always goes in and out during football games. You will go out that gate. You will come through another little gate, come up the bleachers. Now, I think what we're going to have is everybody's going to be, the ones that will be seated right here, some of the seniors, half of the seniors will be seated here, half of the seniors will be seated here. As you come in, and you'll come in this little ramp right here. The honor grads are the only ones who will be backwards from the others, but there will be people under the bleachers telling you, and people in the bleachers telling you where to go. You will come up this ramp. You will go right down here for the honor grads, come up to row 4, and you will go in and sit one there. Then the next one will sit there, and the next one will sit there. Okay. The rest of you in alphabetical order will be coming up the ramp. You will go up this bleacher, and you will file in alphabetically right down here. And it'll be A, and then B, and then C, and then D, or whatever. And then the next row, we'll fill in here. We'll skip a row, obviously, and go up another row, and then skip a row and go up to the next one until we fill half of the bleachers here. Then, now the honor graduates that proceeded in on the other side will come up this ramp. They'll go down this way. They will come up and then file in 1, 2, 3, 4, however many's on this side. There'll be 3 or 4, 3 on one side, 4 on the other, and you will sit right here. The others on this one. That will be done first. Then the A's will come in right here. After that side's filled, we'll come up this bleacher right here, and then N, O, P, Q, whatever we've got over here on this side. I don't know what letters, I'm just saying that. I think actually Jeremiah Juarez, I believe, is the center of the alphabet, if I'm not mistaken. I looked it up yesterday. So it'll be something different than what I just said. But anyway, that's how you'll be seated. So then when we start the ceremony, there will be all the preliminary things going on. But now, before anything goes on, there will be the third ranking senior and the class president. Those two will come up to the stage automatically. You're going to automatically, as soon as the bleachers are filled and everything, pomp and circumstance is over, all that stuff is, you will be seated. I think the two of y'all will be seated on this side, if I'm not mistaken. You will come right down that little row of bleachers, come up onto the stage, take the podium, and you will offer the invocation and do the pledge to the flags that will be set up out here on the platform. And you will do that right there before anything else is done. And so then you will, after you've done that, you will walk back down these bleachers, go back up, take your seats right there, and then we will start the program. I will make some opening remarks, and I'll do some welcoming and things of that nature. Then Dr. Boyette will get up and make some remarks and some welcoming and introductions of the platform guest and things of that nature. And after all those kinds of things are done, then we will have this valedictorian. I believe the valedictorian goes first. I may be wrong. Maybe the salutatorian. Whichever speaker goes first, it'll be that speaker. And they'll take the valedictorian or salutatorian will take their address. After that, then there will be some awards called out. We're not going to be able to have a full-blown honors program awards banquet like we've had in the past. So we're going to take that moment and recognize the recipients of the honors. So we'll do that at that moment. I believe Ms. Knott is going to be doing that. Then afterwards, we'll have the other speech, the valedictorian, salutatorian, whichever one goes second. I can't remember which order. It seemed like we had the salutatorian go first and the valedictorian go second last year. Then after that speech, then it'll be time for the actual presentation of the diplomas, the part y'all all are looking forward to. So at that point, we will certify and present the classes, and the board will accept the classes. We'll get all that kind of stuff taken care of. And then when we start the diplomas, you will march directed by your class sponsors. It'll be up in the bleachers giving you direction. You will come out in alphabetical order over here starting, and you'll walk right down here and line up on this runway here in front of the bleachers. And as your name is called, you'll walk up, you will get your diploma, then you will go down this ramp and you'll come back up this ramp and go right back down and have your seat where you were before. And so you just make a big loop. You'll come down all the way through here, on the stage, back down through that ramp, behind the bleachers, up this ramp, and back to your stand. It's the same thing on this side, except you're going to come out this way and line up. Then you'll go across the stage this way, and then you'll go down this ramp, come in behind, come up, and you'll go up and go back and fill your respective location. Maybe a slight different twist to the honor grads. I won't go into all the details of that. We don't need all that right now, but that's the flow of the traffic and the way that we will do that. At the end of that, then we will have the turning of the tassels. We will have the conclusion of the whole ceremony. We'll have the benediction, and then as we recede, just like we proceeded, there will be a way where we file out, and we'll go right back down the same way that we came in, right in front of everybody. We will go back out down lane 4, back out here and back into the gym, because all your belongings are going to be kept back over in the junior high gym. Also, your diplomas, your actual diplomas will be there, and you will collect them at that time as you leave the old gym to get in your car and leave for the night. So you will be able to get that as you go out, and we don't have to worry about missing anyone and somebody coming up the next week and whatever. We'll have everybody there. Now, if you are going to be driving yourself, you will park in that senior parking area. If a parent is going to drop you off, then you will be in the gym, but then when they come to pick you up, you will be picked up in front of the high school gym, not the junior high gym, but the high school gym. And so we will have to get you your diploma, and you'll be over on that area. All of the parents, in the meanwhile, while this march is going on, we've got to keep our seats the whole time. We're going to have cameras everywhere. We're going to have recordings. We're going to have photographers. We're going to have school photographers that will take every single student. And so we have to discourage, and we have to not allow the getting up, walking around, and assembling up here to take pictures. We can't do that. So everyone's going to have to stay in their block the entire time. And then when it's over and the seniors are leaving, you will have to stay in your blocks until we dismiss you block by block. And we'll have that in an orderly fashion as well. And through the PA system, we will then dismiss a certain row, certain block, and all in that fashion. And we'll exit the same way that we came in. For instance, if you're in this quadrant, you will exit the same way you came in, go into your car, and leave according to the people who would be directing traffic at that time for your departure. And if you're in this quadrant, over here, and so on and so forth. I know I left something out. What did I leave out here? Okay. Yes. Okay. The thing that I didn't say earlier was that we're going through one of your rehearsals right now. Obviously, this is not going to stick with everybody, and we know that. So Ms. Dean and a group of the senior sponsors, probably if I have time to get out there with them, we're going to go back, go out to the stadium again, and we're going to have a walkthrough. We're going to have certain teachers pose as though they were the seniors. And we're going to take you from the moment you walk or drive onto the campus. Where do I go from here? And we're going to video that. and we're going to take you into the gymnasium, the junior high gym, where you're going to be for a staging area. We're going to then take you from there as you're going to march in. We're going to take you through the whole bleachers in a video format to where we can then put that out for you to view. And that'll be out probably by next Wednesday. That's our target date, is to get that out by Wednesday of next week, so that you'll be able to see firsthand what we're talking about and all the things that I just pointed out. You'll see an actual senior sponsor posing as one of you guys and walking through the whole process. And maybe you won't have too many questions after that, and you'll be able to follow the directions pretty easily that the senior sponsors give you at the moment. The other thing is that at the end, after the senior tassels are turned and all this good stuff, now we know that we've always gathered and assembled out in front of the gym, or back in the old days, we'd assemble down here at the end by the goalpost and y'all would throw your caps. We're not going to be able to assemble like that and throw caps because that violates the social distancing law. So what we're going to do, Dr. Boyette has graciously provided the funds to purchase an additional cap for you. So when we get to that point, there will be a moment for you to throw your caps while you're in the bleachers after the tassels. Now, here, keep this in mind. The cap that you're wearing and you throw, it's gonna frisbee out all different directions. They're gonna go everywhere. Some of them over the bleachers, some, I just hope they don't hit anybody too hard, but they're gonna fly everywhere. So those things, when they land, we cannot go and retrieve those. We'll have to retrieve those. Our maintenance staff and cleanup staff will have to retrieve those later. So we're gonna have to leave those, but she has you another cap. But the tassel, before you throw it, take that tassel off, because I don't think we were able to get the additional tassels. Is that right, Ms. Dean? You talked to our representative. We have caps coming, but not. Okay, you're muted. Are you saying yes? Okay, all right, so make sure you take your tassel off of your cap. Yes, go ahead, Ms. Boyette.
What I would suggest is that they leave the hat on with the tassel and throw the spare that we're going to sit in their seat in the bleachers.
Better
That way
idea.
they don't have to worry about remembering to take the tassel and then be tempted to run go get it. So they're just going to stay completely dressed. We'll have another one sitting in their seat. When it comes time, they'll just reach underneath their seat and throw that one and leave the one on their head.
Better idea. I didn't realize that was the idea. I was thinking we were going to give them that other cap when they got back to the gym, but that's a better idea. I like that. Okay. All right. Jot that down in my notes so they're saying, make sure I put that in the out to the students. Okay. What else have I left out as far as important information for them in regards to that night?
I think I see a lot of questions in the chat around the mask.
Right, let's go ahead and take some of them.
I think, just to be clear, the parents, family members, you're wearing the mask on the way in through the screening and all the way to your seat for the protection of our employees. And that is dictated to us in the guidelines from the governor's office and the Texas Education Agency that allows us to have this on this date. So we have to do that out of protection for our employees. Now, once you get in your block and each pod is seated, you can take that off. And the same with our graduates. Once we're not in a group setting and they're seated, they can take that off. They will not have to wear that across the stage to get their diploma and be in a mask and you not be able to tell it's your kid, in pictures forever and ever. So just to clear up that piece on the masks, I think that seems to be a great deal of confusion. And the only other question I think Mr. Sweeney was that I saw several of was related to when they would pick up their packet of tickets.
We're going to work on getting those things printed. I'm going to say we're going to have to buy me a little time on that. I'll probably say next Tuesday or Wednesday. I'm going to need the rest of this week to get some details. I've got to get the assignments made because we haven't run the students through the random number generator yet. We haven't assigned all that. So I'm hoping that by Friday of this week, we will have all that organized and I'll be able to get them out by Tuesday. And if not, then Wednesday for sure.
Sounds great. Thank you. And I don't know if we're considering an electronic option. Someone just asked, could they be delivered by buses on Tuesday with the last meal
Well,
delivery?
I guess we
That might,
could.
we'll
It's
see.
a
if
little
it works
risky.
in time.
To
I
me,
don't
that's a
know.
little risky. I
I agree.
kind of like for them to come pick them up if at all possible. If I put them in the mail Friday, I mean, we can't guarantee anything there either. It would for this
It'd be better if they could come pick them up. I
them
agree.
getting that. I think that for the certainty of them receiving that, I'd like for them to come pick them up either Tuesday or Wednesday whenever we put that note out that we have them ready.
Sounds good.
All right. Any other questions out there?
We have one question here in the Q&A that wasn't answered. Can the students decorate their caps?
No, not the one that you're going to be marching in with. Now, the one up there in the bleachers, you're not going to have time to. And so I guess the answer would have to be no. The one is, this doesn't count. You just can't do it. So it'd be no. I don't know how you make that happen.
The graduation will be live streamed.
Yes. And it will also be broadcast on a radio station. The KJAS station in Jasper is going to be giving us our own frequency. And glad you brought that up, Mr. Moore. That frequency I don't have yet. He has not told me what that's going to be. I need to give that guy a call and see. But it will be publicized. And now it will only be transmitted about a half-mile radius from wherever they set up that transmission, which will be somewhere out close to the football stadium, I'm sure. And what we're wanting to do is provide, if you have some additional family members who want to come listen to it on the radio, I think the live streaming is probably going to be better. You probably get that elsewhere. But if they want to come up and listen to it on the radio live, it will be out at the senior student parking area here by the gym. We're going to, all that student parking area there will be reserved for visitors who want to come on campus and just listen through the radio station. We will have security at each of the entrances. We will have security that will also flank that parking lot area. So anybody there, you know, it should be a safe environment for everybody. So don't worry about that. Other questions?
They want to know if they get to pick who hands them their diploma.
That has been the tradition. I assume we can still try to honor that. Is that right, Dr. Boyette? Okay. So yeah, and that will be out on the Google form. Isn't there a form that's going out to collect some information?
Yes. I can talk about that whenever you're ready for me to talk about that. I have it up, so I can share it.
Go ahead.
And
go ahead.
I do not have that on the Google form yet as far as who you want to hand your diploma to you, but I'm going to add it before we send it out. So just know that I didn't think about that one. Hey, Mr. Sweeney, can you stop sharing your screen so that I can share mine?
Oh, okay. All right. I didn't know I had to stop that. Sorry. While she's pulling hers up, if I might, Ms. Dean is the new assistant principal. Mr. Ford's still around. He has assumed another role. He's still coaching and he's doing some other administrative tasks for the campus and the district. And Ms. Dean is going to be working in the capacity of the assistant principal. We're very excited and happy for her and look forward to working with her. But since that's all developed, since you guys were in session, some of you are aware of it, others may not. So I apologize for not doing that earlier. That's 3 sessions that I failed to recognize that first. And so anyway, just so you'll know where she's coming from. Go ahead, Ms. Dean.
Okay. So this is the Google form. It's going to look a little bit different when it gets to you. This is my version, but this is what's going out to you after this meeting. We need each senior to fill this out because your seating, arrangements, your parking arrangements may depend on it. This is where we're going to ask for anybody who has disabilities or special seating needs, such as wheelchairs. So it's imperative that we get this back, okay, first of all. I've got a little explanation as far as the household information goes on this for you. And a household just represents who lives in one house. So everybody who lives in the same house, that's one household. And it may be set up different for every single kid, okay? How will you arrive for graduation? That's the first question, after your name, of course. Don't forget to put your name. Are you driving or your parents dropping you off? That will determine where you go after we recess from the bleachers. So it isn't, I have to know that. I have to know that. So make sure you get me that question, and it's required. So you're gonna have to. Okay, then we have a place for you to list who you intend to put in each household. Your chairs within your own little block are gonna be arranged based on this information. I have to know this, so make sure you put that in that section. If you have a third household, because you have extra seats listed, that's there also, so you can fill that out. It's not a required question, so if you're just dealing with 2 households of 5 people, you don't have to fill that out. There's your question about special seating, and we have a question on here about participation in a baccalaureate service. So if you're interested, click yes. If you're not interested, click no. It's never been a requirement, but it's a special situation at this point, and so we want to make sure if there's somebody if there's enough people interested that we can put that together for you. So there may be a couple of questions added after we get off of this, just things that we thought of that we need to add at this point. But that's what I have right now. Did somebody have a question?
I think you just answered it. You said you're going to add the question about who they wanted to hand their diploma from.
Yeah.
And will you just add a drop down of who is available for them to choose from?
Yes.
Perfect.
Yeah. Okay. Is there any questions before I wrap up with a couple of just reminders to some of the seniors? Any questions at all from anybody? Now I see that chat. There's a whole bunch of stuff in there. I was seeing one question. All I saw, there's 84.
I think they're wondering when they're going to get this diagram and the document that you were talking from, Mr. Sweeney, and also the form, the Google form.
I think we'll probably get all this stuff out before the week is over, by Friday is what my goal. Ms. Dean, do you think we can make that happen by Friday? I don't see any reason.
I hope before that, yeah.
Maybe tomorrow. Okay. If we get all the details worked out this afternoon, some of the things put on there, we may get it out today, but it'll be by Friday for sure. Okay. Okay. If there are no other questions, and I was asked also, there's several just house cleaning type issues we need to look at. We need to make sure that you get all your books and materials returned. If you have any kind of textbooks, any kind of calculators, any kind of things of that nature that you have not returned, seniors, y'all got to get that in there. And if you don't, our policy says you don't walk that night. So I don't want to be addressing that next week on Friday. So let's get this taken care of ASAP. Uniforms, whether it be athletic or band or whatever has to be returned, make sure that you get those things taken care of. Some of you may have lunch charges. Get that addressed and taken care of. And Ms. Lambert asked me to ask, is there anyone who has not, does not have a cap and gown ready to go? Because we've got to know that. We do have some extras, but we have to know who does not have one because we've got to get one. So make sure you let us know that immediately if you don't have a cap or gown. And then all of this administrative thing, get that stuff taken care of. All right. Make sure you get your books and uniforms and lunch charges and all that kind of stuff taken care of. All right, anything else, senior sponsors?
Mr. Sweeney,
Okay.
students
Yes.
are wanting to know when they're going to know if they're missing any work.
Okay, that is being done every moment. I mean, the packets that were picked up yesterday were put out for this morning and for tomorrow. As soon as the teachers go through that and get all of that taken care of, then we'll know what's missing, and there will be contacts made immediately when the seniors will be the priority in that. Any senior that is on our list of incomplete, we're going to give them a call, email, everything, and get that addressed immediately.
Yeah, absolutely. I would think that there should be no surprises at this point. Our expectation all along has been for communication to be ongoing between teachers and students.
Mhm.
I don't know the exact deadline, but I know Mr. Sweeney had a document that went to teachers that said they needed to have had the conversation with any parent should there be an issue. And I was thinking that deadline was this Friday, but it may have been last Friday.
Yeah.
But anyway, regardless, if you as a student have a question, you need to reach out to your teacher, parent or student, either one. But the teachers should have reached out.
Yeah. Yeah. I think all of you probably know who you are. If there is a problem getting something cleared up, if you feel like it was done, but it never was straightened up in the paperwork and on the computer, then you need to give me a call. Call me or Ms. Fivey or Ms. Dean, somebody up here, and we will look into that for you and make sure that that's taken care of. Okay. So if there's any doubt at all, you contact us. And but we will. I know that my directive to the staff was to get these things looked at as quickly as possible and get that information out to the students and parents immediately. And so I think everyone should probably be aware of those things. All right, other questions? Ms. Spivey, did you have anything from your end?
If they have a scholarship they want announced, we need that information.
Yes. Yes, ma'am, and thank you for saying that, because that was part of the thing on the diplomas a while ago. I had it in my mind, but I let it slip. We will not, as I mentioned earlier, we won't be able to have the full-blown scholarship presentations like we've had in our graduation program before. That will be done with your presentation of your diploma. It will be read out. And so as your name is called, it'll be, so-and-so is also receiving a scholarship for blah, 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 blah. And that'll be done at that point in time. So make sure you get that to Ms. Spivey so that she can get your all your information together, okay? Thank you, ma'am. Anything else? Anyone else? All right. I suppose if there's no other questions, and I see that number went from 84 to 99. Is there not anything in there? I'm afraid to look at that. Okay.
I think it's pretty clear. I think, thank you to everybody who's been working on it. And I know that they'll have probably some more questions after they review the documents, but I think that'll also clear up some questions once they review the documents. And I would just say, on behalf of those that are working on the campus, all the sponsors and the administration, the sooner you could get back that Google form, the better. That really is going to help them, because as you can see, they're going to really try to customize the seating and everything based on what you put on that form, and have everything ready for you when you show up. So the more lead time they get in that, the better.
Yeah. Thank you. I appreciate you emphasizing that, because that is paramount in our organization. All right. I guess we'll see all y'all later. It was great to be with each of you. And